Thank you and welcome. And so therefore, fellow Africans, being on 5th of February 2025, I am once again profoundly honored to present to you our today's episode, which doubles up to be our third pillar that we discuss every Wednesday of the week. So therefore, fellow Africans, to help us exemplify on our today's pillar about the resources that we own in Africa, will be a country from the western part of Africa, and that is country by the name Burkina Faso. Allow me once again to go back to Burkina Faso because during yesterday's episode, when we spoke about the potential that we have in Africa, we were in Burkina Faso still. And so also today, allow me to use this as a card to help us exemplify on this matter about the resources that we own in Africa. Burkina Faso is a country with an estimated population of about 23 million people, with also a GDP of around 23.32 million US dollars as per the 2023 report. And so we want to see, I'll be tackling only one mineral from Burkina Faso, and that is the gold in Burkina Faso. Putting in mind that after the thorough research that I've gone through, Burkina Faso is the fourth largest gold producer in Africa, and Burkina Faso still holds 21% of West Africa's greenstones, and still the same Burkina Faso is the country that has, as in simple terms, Burkina Faso is the country that is yet to have its resource potential, tested. It's a country with the most untested resource potential. That is Burkina Faso. And so we want to see this mineral known as gold, and how is it faring on, more so especially after President Ibrahim Traore came into power in 2022. We are now in 2025, and we are just trying to see, or we're waiting to see what other more implementation that is going to bring in place to see how we can develop Burkina Faso. And so always irony about Africa is what they have and what they own and what they are and how they are living currently. That is always the iron part of Africa. That regardless of Africa owning so much resources, still Africa is counted among the very poorest continent in the world. Because how comes that Africa is a continent with very many resources, and yet it is the poorest continent on earth, but potentially Africa is the richest continent on earth, potentially. And so this is what we try and discuss about, because it is a very worrying situation about Africa. And so after President Ibrahim Traore came in town, what he did was to sanction, or hold the multinationals, those companies that were carrying out mining operations in Burkina Faso, gold mineral included. And he did this in the sense of first cleaning that sector, because putting in mind that in the recent years, the regimes that have come and gone, these are regimes that which some of them were democratic regimes. These are regimes that really they did support the multinationals to come and mine gold in Burkina Faso. And what is the negative ripple effect of multinationals or foreign countries being at the center of mining operations in African countries? Because these are countries that have a self-interest at heart. These are countries that come to mine or carry out these operations with the sense that they are the one to benefit more than even the source, and the source is Africa. So the reason as to why Captain Ibrahim Traore took this pragmatic decision about gold in Burkina Faso was to hold those companies and keep them away, because he said, and he did state it himself, that he does not understand the reason as to why multinationals should be doing that in a Western in an African country, and yet he knows and they have the capacity to do these operations on their own. I do not understand why we should have foreign countries carrying out these impeccable operations on such minerals, or such activities in Africa, because we are not short of men who can make Africa develop. We are not short of men who can contribute to Africa's development. We are not short of men who can explore our minerals in Africa, refine them in Africa, and then we sell or we export the final product. We are not short of such men. But what happens in Africa is because most of the government systems in Africa take advantage of this, because most of these people are individuals who have always self-interest at heart. So what they do, they allow these multinationals to come carry out these operations, and then at the end of the day, yes, there is something that is gotten, but then it is not the real amount that is supposed to go to the country and help in development, but some of this money, it is taken by these multinationals, huge sums, and then the remaining, some of them is given to the government of the day. And then what happens is that those in the government system now are the people who benefit much from this, but not the citizens of that country. In these terms, not the citizens of Africa. So that is the main reason as to why Captain saw it impeccable to halt these multinationals from mining there, because these are resources that not that we cannot carry operation around these resources, but it has been put in the African mind that we need to have a white man coming to do this, coming to do that one. It seems like Africa cannot decide or cannot do its own things, yet that is the very wrong answer. The truth of the matter is that Africa can handle its own resources, and Africa can rely on its own self. Africa can refine, and Africa can export the final product. But what happens in most African countries is that most of these resources are mined. Example of gold is mined, and then they are directly exported to those countries. And so when they are exported, most of what is supposed or what these minerals contain, most of them, even the better part of those minerals, they are now taken by those multinationals into their own country, and they continue benefiting them with the very huge sums of money. And then in Africa, what comes back, some products made from the remains, from the refuse of these minerals, to bring us and also sell them at very high prices to the African people. That is reparative in the 21st century, and that is not what should be happening in Africa today. Africa is a land of great potential, and Africa has immense resources to rely on itself, do its own operation, and export the final product. Why mine cobalt in DRC, export it to China, raw like that, and then come back as a product of laptop or a phone? No, mine our own things. Let us refine them. We can manufacture items or devices from those minerals in our own industries after we put up strategic interventions and pragmatic steps on what we should do in terms of putting up industries to help us finish these raw materials into products, and so Burkina Faso has taken that bold step that no multinational is going to mine in Burkina Faso, and is not going to mine, and no gold is going to be exported as it is mined. What will be happening is that gold is mined, refined in Burkina Faso, and exported to other countries as a product. That is the way that Africa should be doing things, and I love it because this is a very young guy at around 36 years, and I believe that people under that age, people from this age, us who are the youth of Africa, will continue to learn from that and lean on that and see how we ourselves can develop Africa. The problem in Africa is that those with ideas, most of those people with ideas are not in power in Africa. But those in power, most of them have no ideas of how to develop Africa. That is the problem with Africa. But let me tell you one thing. I have said this before, that the moment you realize you are facing the same problem, that is when you develop the same mutation. Thank you for being part of our Wednesday's episode about the resources that we own in Africa. Thank you and God bless you. Let's meet tomorrow on Thursday as we discuss the resources that we own in Africa. Thank you. A great afternoon.